Today's topic is land diversity by matrix method. Two words is very important: plant diversity and matrix. Matrix is nothing but the arrangement according to row and column. It's the arrangement of the number into a square or the rectangular shape. It represents the number into the row and column. Now come to the point of plant diversity. Normally, diversity includes three things: genetical, species, and biological. And the world of plant diversity is really full of diversity. Out of all these three main criteria, the height, density, size of the leaf, moisture content of the plant, if on the basis of root length of the plant, there are various attributes of plant diversities. Okay, uh, here we can only take the very simple attributes of the plant diversity, and we will learn all these things according to the perspective of geographical space. Okay, now come to the point of plant census. Rather, plant diversity is related to the plant census. We are all familiar about the rotation of population census. It comes after 10 years. But now the animal census like tiger census, lion census, and the bird census, we are all familiar. Rather, ecologists and environmentalists are familiar with the system of animal census. The plant census is also ancient one. It started in Europe during 1920s. Now it's a part of, rather, plant diversities is a part of plant census. Now the question is how we will prepare the plant census, rather how we will prepare the plant diversity with the metric system. Here we will discuss all these things step by step. First and foremost step is selection of the sites. Selection of the sites depend on the purpose of individual, purpose of the researcher, purpose of the student. Okay, and students have every liberty to select any area for preparation of matrix of the plant diversity according to their own choice. Okay, uh, here two things is very important. Criteria of the selection of the area depend on purpose, and second thing is that small area provides more accurate result related to plant diversity. Okay, for the selection of the sites, you can take help of the topographical sheets, you can take help of the local map, and otherwise you can straightforward go to the park or the gardens of your individual's gardens. You can select any area for that specific purpose, but site selection solely depend on the purpose. A small area provides the accurate result. Okay, go through the slide for the selection of the sites. Okay, suppose this an area. It's maybe a mapped area from the topographical sheet, maybe a randomly chosen area of your neighboring areas, of a known park, of an unknown park, of a tract of a forest land, any kind of land. Okay, you can identify that kind of area. Okay, a second phase is after the identification of the area. Second thing is that after the identification of area, you have prepared a quadrant. Okay, quadrant means it's maybe a square, maybe rectangular. And after preparation of quadrant, third step is divide the quadrant into the small grid. Okay, go through the previous map. Here, here, this is the selected area. This area has been selected on the basis of specific purpose. After selecting of this area, second step is to divide the area into the square grid, rather quadrant, rather in square matrix or rectangular matrix. You can divide the area in that way, and you can take the area in respectives of shape, size and pattern, and you also can identify or take an area in a perfectly square shape. Okay, and also you can divide. Okay, this one. Okay, this is the area. This is the total area selected for the specific purpose. After the selection of the rectangular square, you have to divide this area in series of square grid. Okay, this is the first step, and you have to take a small area, that is 1 meter by 1 meter, rather 1 square meter area, rather 5 square meter area, and small area. All this a selection of area depend on the purpose. After selecting the area and preparation of square grid, then third, after fourth step it division of the quadrant into the small grid. After that, fourth step is that observation of the distribution pattern. What is observation of the distribution pattern? Go through this picture. Okay, this is the real picture. In reality, in reality, those are the square grid selected by the individual or the researcher to identify the plant species diversity with the help of matrix system. This is the real square grid. But after preparation of square grid, after preparation of the square grid, suppose this is a square grid area, then you have to observe the throughout the area very carefully. If the diversities or the distribution of the pattern, whether the distribution pattern of the plant species is uniformly distributed throughout the area or not uniformly distributed. Rather, this area is full of diversities in the plant species. If the area is uniformly distributed in the plant species, then only select one or two or three grids as a sample, that is the random sampling method. Or if the area is not uniformly distributed in the plant diversities, then students have to select all the consecutive and all the grids for the identification of plant matrix. I think I am clear enough. Okay. And the fourth step is observation of the distribution pattern. On the basis of the observation of the distribution pattern, the sample grid, or it may be continuous or may be random, are taken for the are chosen for the sampling. If the area is plant species diversity is uniformly distributed throughout the area, then only two or three sample grid has been identified, has been selected for the identification of plant matrix. And if the area is full of diversities, then students have to go for the continuous grid for the identification of the diversities of the plant matrix. Next, come to the sixth point. Then after the identification of the, suppose for these cases we are selecting only 4 grids for the study of plant species diversity. Then sixth point is that what we will identify. We are not botanists, we are not familiar with the all sort of plant divisions, okay, genetical and species division. Okay, then we stage forward, we have to think that what will be the attributes to identify, to select, to study the plant diversity. Then you have to, student have to identify the plant attributes. Okay, it may be one attributes, maybe more than one attributes. Suppose basically forest type are divided, or rather vegetation types are divided into mainly three categories: forest type, scrub and the grasses. Forest type mainly divided into the two parts. Okay, here as an example, I am taking very easiest example. First thing is that forest. Suppose first thing is that forest. Suppose first thing is that forest. First thing is that forest. Okay, forest divided into the two segment. First thing is that woody forest. Suppose as an example, wood forest. REST. For wood forest we are taking the symbol of W, and second is flowering tree. flowering tree Flowering tree. Okay, T for tree. A forest. Then grassland, grassland grassland and grassland for G. Here G symbol we are selecting here. Okay, for the identification, for symbolization we are taking the G word G. And scrub for S. Suppose here the four forest attributes: woodland, flowering tree, grassland and scrub we have selected for the identification of plant species diversity. Here for the 6 points, the six step, the plant attributes one or more has been selected. Here we are only selecting one attributes. First attributes is the forest types. On the heading of forest types, we are categorized into the three groups. 7 is segmentation of the attributes. Okay, here the category is the forest type. Here we are selecting the category of the forest type for the identification of plant matrix by plant diversity through the matrix method. And for the forest type we have segmented into the forest. Forest is full of diversities. For our limited knowledge, here we only divided into the forest into the four segment. One is woody forest, second is flowering tree, third is grassland and scrub. Now after this step, that is the seventh step, then go straight forward and go to the step 8, preparation of matrix table. Go for here. Suppose this is an square grid zone. Okay, you can this is in square grid zone. Suppose this is in square grid zone. This is the area selected for the study on the basis of purpose. Okay, suppose this area is not uniformly distributed, so is uniformly distributed, so we are taking only the grid F, only the grid F and grid K and grid P. We are only taking the three grids for the sample survey. Suppose, okay, three grids. Okay, on the basis of three grids grid F, grid K and grid P, we are divided these three grids into the three segment, three in row, three in column, 1, 2, 3. That is the row, and 1, 1, 2, 3 column. So grid F and grid K, these three grid K, P and F divided into the three grids. This one, and this one. Here we are preparing matrix of the forest type. Forest type is divided into the three segment forest type. Our objective to identify the forest type. This is the main category. This category divided into the woodland. I am writing in short. This is the flowering plant. This is third one is the grassland, G for grassland, and fourth one is the scrubland. Okay, this type. So we have to identify the in grid 4 with 3 column and 3 row. This is the matrix system with the wood forest for the flowering forest, grassland and scrub. Okay, then take the example of AF grid. AF grid is divided into the 3 row, that is 3 row and 3 column. Okay, go through this. page. Okay, so matrix is column 3 into 3. Okay, and grid, we are preparing for grid F. Grid F, suppose grid F, we are preparing for forest type, and among the forest type, first one is the woody forest বা wood forest বা woody tree, forest. Okay, then this is the row 1 2 3, and this is the column 1 2 3. And second thing, we have to prepare 4 table for the grid number F, and we have to prepare 4 table for the grid number K. We have to prepare 4 table because we are segmented the whole thing into the 4 part. Okay, we have to prepare 4 table for the grid P. So come to the grid 2. This is grid F, so on. All these things are grid F. This is for the towering tree, and this is grid 4 for the F. We are counting in number. This is the grassland, and this, and 4 is grid F. We are counting forest type. At 4 type is curves. All are the forest type. Okay, all are the forest type. This is second category, flowering tree. This is third category, forest type, and this one is the fourth category. Okay, we have to prepare as a sample the 4 grid for the matrix 3 by 3. It may be rectangular, maybe 3 by 4, maybe 2 by 3, so on. Here we prepared 3 by 3. So straightforward, go through the region. Suppose this is the physical region, this is the space, and observe minutely the F grid, grid 1. Suppose we first we have to go for the woodland, for the preparation of the matrix of the woodland. First one, we have to go for the woodland. W, suppose this is the grid 1, 1 by 1. Here we are taking, this is the grid 1 by 1. This is row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 1. Is there any woodland? Suppose there are 3 woody tree. There are 3 tree. Okay, suppose then in the column, in the column place here, you have to write 3. Suppose you have to write 3 as a tally. Okay, as a tally. This is the basic method of matrix, as a tally. Okay, suppose in row 1, column 2, there are also 3 woody tree. Then you have to plot, you have to write 3. And suppose in row 1, column 3, go to reality in map. Row 1, column 3, this one, that is 3. Then you have to identify the number of the woody tree. Suppose number of the woody tree is 2. Then you have to observe in reality. Here we are counting in number. Okay, there, suppose this is 0, suppose this is 1, suppose this is 3, suppose this is also 0, this is 0, suppose this is 2, suppose this is 3. So what will be the matrix for the woody land, for the woodland? That will be the matrix for the woodland, for the grid F, that is forest type, that is forest type. Okay, forest type attributes is woodland, but woody forest, woody tree, wood forest, for the wood forest, and for the wood forest. This is the matrix. This comes after the observation. This comes from this table. Okay, this come from this table. This matrix. If you all student have to fill up this table for the forest type. Suppose forest type is an example. Forest type, and go through the reality in your garden, in your field, in your study area, and to this particular grid, identify the particular species in number. Not necessarily in number, but it is the easiest method to count in number. And prepare the forest type 1 woodland matrix with the help of counting. Okay, and the result will be that type. Similar repeated work, repeated counting of another three attributes, that is flowering tree, that is grassland and scurf, continues, and prepared another three tables and prepared whole things. Then what will be the result? Suppose you student have to complete this table, forest type woodland table, after observation, flowering table, and grassland table, and the curve table for the grid F, and four separate sets of matrix like this one. Four separate set of matrix like this one. This is only one set of matrix. Separate set of matrix will come, and after counting the separate set of matrix for the woodland, for the flowering tree, for the grassland and scurf, total set of matrix comes. Now according to our syllabus, the method, we have to learn the method how to prepare the matrix. This is the method to prepare the matrix. And after preparing the matrix, okay, after preparation of matrix table, first we have to prepare the matrix table. On the basis of the counting of the ground reality, we can ultimately prepare the matrix table. Okay, ultimately prepare the matrix table. This is our objective, to prepare the matrix table. Matrix, with the help of tables we can calculate the plant diversity. After preparation of the matrix table, we can go for the statistical calculation. We are all familiar to adding, multiplication of matrix, and we can go for the another statistical application, but those part not directly included our syllabus. So we have to stop to build matrix of the plant diversity. So we are stopping here. Okay, but after creating the four square grid layer, you can merge one by one, and by manually or through the help of GIS techniques, you can represent all these things in map. Okay, this part is not now included in syllabus. That's why we are not going in details. But with the help of this four square grid, after layering or merging all these things, after superimposing of the woodland, forest land, grassland, and scurf, we can get a complete picture. With adding these four matrix, we can get complete number of plant species of this area, and we can go for the statistical techniques too. Here I would like to say one thing. Suppose here we are counting the number of the tree. It is very easiest method to count the number of the tree. Suppose we are here. Suppose a researcher is taking. Interested to count the grass density of the grass. So how he or she will calculate the density of the grass in the plant matrix? Then researcher or student have to identify the very small area of the square grid. Suppose student have to take 1 inch by 1 inch square grid area. Then it's very easy to count the number of grasses into the 1 inch by 1 inch area, rather 1 square inch area, rather 4 square centimeter area, 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter area. It's a very teeny area. Student can easily identify the number of the grass. If the grass pattern is uniformly distributed through the two or three sample size, after identification of 2 or 3 sample size, student can easily go for the conclusion about the grass density. We are only saying about the counting, but you can identify the plant on the basis of the leaf size, on the basis of, suppose, on the basis of the size of their width of their stem, on the basis of their length. You can take any criteria, okay? But basic thing of the identification of the plant matrix is following the step. First is site selection. Small size provides more precise result. Quadrant preparation, division into the quadrant into the small grid. Then observe the area. After observation, taking a decision. Student have to take a decision whether he or she will go for the continuous grading system or go for the random sampling method. And then after that, student have to fit the criteria, and student have to segmentate the attributes on the basis of selected attributes. Preparation of tables. On the preparation of tables, repeated counting system. We are counting the same grid on the basis of the number of the attributes taken by the researcher, and ultimately we can get a plant matrix. Then there is lots of techniques, lots of layering methods, but those are not totally included our syllabus. So we are stopping here. Another thing is that we are the geographer, we are the student of geography. That's why we want to relate all these things to the space and spatial attributes. So after preparing the grid, we can get the landform information, and we can analyze the plant matrix with the slope, relative relief, dissection index, and all these things. Okay, we can relate all these things to the plant attributes. Okay, and what will be the output of that kind of matrix? We are not familiar with the number of pyramids, number of biomes. Okay, to identify the number of biomes, number of pyramids, and pyramids of biomes, pyramids of number, urban gardening, and the association of the plant survival. Few plants are survive with an association of a particular plant. Here I like to mention one of my personal experience. My sister likes gardening. One day she came and told me, Didi, brinjal trees can survive with the help of the marigold tree. If you put marigold tree inside of in behind the brinjal tree, then the production of brinjal will be good, because it's protect the brinjal tree. The association of brinjal and marigold is a good one. She learned it from her experience, and this is the association. Sure, the matrix system helps to identify the plant association, and it also helps to identify the geographical and spatial relationships, slope, landform, land morphology, all these things. Thank you very much.